Welcome back to another episode of my weekly meal prep. This week's meal prep is all about comfort food that still keeps me feeling good throughout the day. I've been leaning into meals that are simple, nourishing, and honestly just feel like a warm hug after a long day. I wanted to prep all three meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so that even on the busiest days I'd still have something ready that I could look forward to eating. Starting with dinner, I made a dal using three different types of lentils: chana dal, yellow moong, and green moong. I used about half a cup of each. I rinsed them really well in water. I love using both yellow and green moong in the same pot. Yellow one is really gentle and soft when it cooks down, while the green moong keeps a bit of texture. Chana dal is heartier, so it gives the whole dish a nice body. I seasoned it with turmeric, cumin, red chili powder, and cumin seeds, and some salt. I simmered them in chicken broth instead of water. I've been doing that more often lately. It adds depth and a little extra protein without having to do anything extra. I gave it a gentle mix to mix up all the spices in the broth, and then I let it simmer on low heat while I worked on rest of the prep. While that simmered away, I started prepping aloo shimla mirch, one of my go-to comfort dishes made with potatoes and bell pepper. Usually I make it on stovetop, but recently I've been roasting it in the oven and I don't think I'm going back. I chopped up 3 medium potatoes and a couple of bell peppers into chunky pieces, about an inch or so, and tossed them with a little oil spray and some turmeric, cumin, and red chili powder. I skipped adding salt at this point to retain a crispy texture of the veggies. I gave everything a good mix to make sure each piece of veggie was fully coated in the spices, and then I put it on a sheet pan and roasted it at 350 Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes. Since the oven was already on, I figured I'd make breakfast at the same time in the oven. I wanted something high protein and low effort, so I baked a full 500 grams carton of liquid egg whites in a greased baking dish. No seasonings, no fuss, just straight into the oven for about 20 minutes until it was all set. Don't worry, I'll show you how will I season it later on. After that, I started marinating some chicken for lunch. I used about 500 grams of chicken breast, cut it into bite-sized pieces and made a quick saffron yogurt marinade. I crushed a small pinch of saffron in a mortar and pestle, then bloomed it in warm water for a minute. That little extra step brings out the saffron's color and aroma. What's cool about saffron is that it's not just for color, it actually has natural compounds that may boost your mood and reduce inflammation. And even though it's pricey, you only need a tiny pinch to elevate the whole dish. I poured the saffron water over chicken and then started adding the remaining ingredients for marination. I mixed in Greek yogurt, tomato paste, cumin powder, red chili powder, salt and black pepper, then coated the chicken pieces well. I have added all the marination ingredients measurements in the description below. Once all the chicken was fully coated in the marination, I moved it onto a greased baking tray. Ideally, it would be nice to marinate this overnight for more flavor, but I didn't plan ahead this time, so it went straight into the oven with everything else. While the oven was working overtime and roasting all the things, I started chopping up salad for lunch. I kept it really fresh and simple, a base of spinach, then cucumbers, celery, bell pepper, and cherry tomatoes. All crunchy, hydrating veggies that hold up well over a few days. I directly added the chopped veggies into 4 containers to prep the lunch for 4 days. By the time I was done chopping salads, all the things in the oven were cooked. I left the egg whites to cool down. I added some salt on aloo shimla mirch and moved it into a glass container. Roasting brings out the sweetness in the peppers and gives the potatoes that golden toasty edges. And the bell peppers aren't just here for color. They are packed with vitamin C, which is actually great for helping your body absorb iron. So if you're eating more lentils or plant-based meals, adding bell pepper helps you make the most of it nutritionally. By this time, the dal had turned into this perfect creamy texture just the way I like it. It was light yet filling. I keep this one for dinner when I want something warm and nourishing after a long day. I boxed it up in a separate glass container as well. Adding some cilantro on top here would have been perfect, but I was running out of all herbs. And the chicken was cooked as well. It came out so fragrant and soft. Just look at it. I stored it separately in a glass container rather than adding them onto salads. That way it will make it easier for me to reheat if I want. Although it tastes good at room temperature as well. Once the egg whites cooled down, I mashed them with a fork directly in the baking dish to avoid an extra dirty dish. Then I chopped up some celery, red onion and green chili using my hand chopper. It saves so much time and the veggies come out a perfect fine texture. I mixed it all together along with a bit of mayo, some Dijon mustard, salt and black pepper. You could also add parsley if you have it on hand, but I was running out. It turned out creamy and tangy with just a bit of kick from the chili, and honestly, each cup of egg whites gives you around 25 grams of protein, which makes it such a great way to start the day. I stored it in a separate glass container as well. Finally, I made dough for roti to go along with dal and aloo shimla mirch. I just mixed 1 cup of whole wheat flour with half a cup of lukewarm water, then kneaded it until it was smooth and elastic. I stored the dough in an airtight container and it lasts about 4 days in the fridge. Making roti fresh not only takes a few minutes, but it also pairs beautifully with everything I prepped. Now that everything is prepped and packed up, let me show you how I actually ate these meals throughout the week. For breakfast, I usually scooped some of the egg salad onto toasted sourdough. It stayed creamy and flavorful all week long, and in fact, the flavors kept getting better each day. This breakfast was honestly such a perfect start to my day every day this week. Lunch was this amazing saffron chicken kebab with salad. I stored the chicken separately and just reheated it onto my mini grill. It gave a good crisp and heated up so nicely that way. Then I added a squeeze of lemon over the salad as a quick dressing, along with some salt and sumac. I didn't feel the need to make a fancy dressing for it, since the chicken kebab was so flavorful and the highlight of this dish. It was overall super light, refreshing, and still very satisfying. Dinner was definitely my favorite this week. I rolled out a roti, cooked it on a dry pan, and heated up the dal and aloo shimla mirch. Sometimes I pop the aloo shimla mirch in air fryer to bring back that crispy texture. Then I'd add a couple of spoonfuls of plain yogurt on the side for some cooling balance and a little extra protein. After a long day, that warm plate of dal sabzi and fresh roti was exactly what I needed. Cozy without being heavy and nourishing without requiring much effort once the prep was done. All in all, this week's prep was super manageable and gave me so much peace of mind during the week. It took about 2 hours on Sunday but saved me every single day from wondering what to eat or defaulting to random snacks. If you're looking for inspiration for your next meal prep, I hope this gives you some ideas.